Hi, welcome to this video. We're going to look at a situation with commission and how we can use proportions to help us solve percents. So commission is something that people make in the real world. It's a way to earn money. So it often happens at places like used car lots or furniture stores or things like that, or different places where people sell things. A commission is when the money you make on a sale. So what happens is at a used car lot, here's one that's made up at Carla's. She purchases cars from people, and then what she does is that's called the buying price. She buys the car. Then she adds what they call a markup. That's an amount of money they add on to the price of the car, so that when she sells it, she sells it for more than what she bought it for. That's why they call it a markup. Juan works for Carla, and Juan works on a commission. So his commission is 25%, and his commission is 25% of the markup. So in a percent problem, whenever you see the word of, the next thing that follows is going to be the whole. So the commission is 25% of the whole thing, and the whole thing here is the markup. So the whole is 100%. So the commission is 25%, but the markup is 100%. So what that means is, if the markup of a car was $100, then how much would one earn in commission? Well, here's how we're going to figure that out. We're going to use a proportion, and all our proportions on the front here are going to be the same way. So if you have a piece of paper, if you have the worksheet, you can fill it in as I go, but if you don't, if you have a piece of paper, then just go ahead and write this down with me. 25% is the commission. He gets 25% of the markup. So the 100% is the markup. In this case, the markup of the car is $100. Well, this is going to be pretty simple because 25% of 100 is 25. But let me show you how this works in the proportions. So I'm going to put $100 here because that's the markup, and I'm trying to find the commission. So I always draw my arrows in my proportions towards what I don't know. And I do 100 divided by 100. So I ignore the dollar sign and I ignore the percent sign. I just put in the numbers. 100 divided by 100 is 1. So times 1, 25. I ignore the percent. 25 times 1 is 25. Now I put the label back on. All the things on the right here are dollars. All the things on the left here are percents. All the things over here are dollars. That means it must be a $25 commission. And that makes sense because 25% of 100 is 25, so that's why it's $25. So using that setup, we're going to look at what the commission would be for 3 different vehicles. And I'll do the first one for you, and then on a piece of paper you can find out the commission for the convertible and the SUV. I'll do the sedan with you. So we remember that what we just found out. We found out that Juan gets a commission. He gets 25% commission of the markup. So that means the markup is 100%. The sedan's markup is $300. So I put percent with percent and dollars with dollars. So I put $300 here, and that's the markup. And now I draw my arrows towards what I don't know. And I put in the calculator like this. I put it in as 300, not dollars, just 300. 300 divided by 100. Not 100%, just 100. And that is 3. So that means my scale factor is 3. 100 times 3 is 300. 25, not 25%, just the number 25, times 3 is 75. Now I put the label on it, $75 commission. So try using proportions. You may be able to do this a different way and it might be easier, but just try using proportions on this and see if you can find the commission for the convertible and the SUV. So let's look at the back now, and in this case they've changed it on us a little bit. So now at Carla's, the markup on the car is 10% of the buying price. So now we're going to know the markup, and we're going to calculate the buying price. So remember we said before, whatever comes after the word of is the 100%. So I'm going to underline of the buying price, and I'm going to write underneath that the 100% so that I remember. The markup is 10%, so those two things go together. So I'm going to use those facts to set up some proportions so that I can solve and find the buying price for a couple of the original vehicles. So again, with the sedan, I'm going to write line equals line. And I'm going to say, since I know that 10% is the markup, and the markup is 10% of the buying price, I'm going to put 100% down here for the buying price. I'm trying to find the buying price when the markup, and that's here in the table, is $300. So I'm going to put the $300 next to the markup. I draw my arrows towards what I don't know to find my scale factor. So I'm going to do 300 divided by 10, not 10%, just 10, and I get 30. So my scale factor is times 30. So I'm going to multiply the bottom by 30. 100, the number, 100 times 30 is 3,000. Now I add my label lines. That means the buying price must be $3,000. So that is a way to use proportions to solve these percent problems. If I keep going across the side, I'm also going to calculate the selling price. The selling price is the markup plus the buying price. So the markup here was $300. They told us that from the beginning. We just calculated the buying price is $3,000, so that means they must have sold it for $3,300 is the selling price. So now that you've seen those, try using a percent and try to find what would the buying price be if the markup is $950. Then calculate the selling price. Remember, the selling price is the markup plus the buying price. And then for the SUV, if the markup is $500, what was the buying price? Then take the buying price and the markup and add them together to get the selling price. And that's what we worked on today in class. For homework then, we have a worksheet, and at the top of the worksheet you're just finding sales tax, and you can use percent proportions to do that, or any other strategy that you think would be easy for you to use. Those should be pretty simple. But down here, this is a very complicated table. So the table works like this, and this document is available so that you can write on it. It's a PDF. Bill's Bikes sells new and used bikes. Bill buys used bikes and fixes them. He marks the prices up by 80%, and then the salesperson gets a 25% commission. So what someone did was they said, okay, if the buying price is $100, let's find the markup, add the markup plus the buying price to get the selling price, use the markup to determine the commission, and then find the profit. And this top row here is all just an example for you. But let's try one more together. So the markup is 80% of the buying price. Whatever comes after the word of is the 100%. So let me write my proportion. 80% out of 100%. 100% is the buying price. 80% is the markup. They're giving me the buying price in this column. The buying price here is $10, so that goes next to the buying price. I'm trying to find the markup. So I draw my arrows towards what I don't know. So I do 10 divided by 100 is 0.10. So I'm going to multiply by 1/10 or 0.10. I multiply 80 by 0.10 and I get 8. $8. So I put my label back on. $8 is the markup. The selling price is the markup plus the buying price. So that would be 8 plus 10 is 18. Now I have to calculate commission. So the commission is 25%. The commission is 25% of the markup. Whatever comes after the word of is our 100%. So here's my proportion. So the 100% now is the markup because it says it up here. See how that changed from the previous problem. The 25% is the commission because that's what I'm calculating, commission. So where can I find the markup? I actually found that. I already did that. I solved that problem over here. That was $8. So that goes down here. So I have to solve the markup row or column in order to find the commission column. So now I draw my arrows and I get my scale factor is 0.08. I'm going to multiply by 0.08. 25 times 0.08 is $2. Okay. So the commission is $2. So finally, I'm going to find the profit. So it tells me how to find profit. It says the profit equals markup minus commission. So profit equals the markup minus the commission equals the profit. And that's how you calculate profit. So the markup was $8 minus the commission we found was $2. We subtract those two things to get a $6 profit. So you have to find the commission and the markup to be able to calculate the profit. So if you would please try the next two for $55 and $125. So that is a way to solve percent problems. You could use proportions. Thanks.